Good afternoon, Lisa.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
What have we been doing today?
What have we been doing? What, recently or all day?
What today? Washing.
Washing. Nothing exciting. That's why I'm just perplexed why you asked me that question.
I've been writing some writer's notes
You
for
have, yes.
people who might want to
write for
join in for Round the Archives.
Yes.
We've had an exciting article arrive, haven't we, from one of our team.
For the future.
For some way in the future, quite possibly. But it was about time we did another video as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
So today we have just watched Bless This House, and we have watched Disc 7 from Series 4, it says, and They Will Come Home, written by Carla Lane, original transmission 27th of February 1974, and the blurb says, "The trouble starts when Sally and Mike go into business buying and selling old junk. Sid puts up with it until one big thing arrives in the garden." So, now, Bless This House. Paul covered it a few issues ago.
He did, yes.
On Round the Archives. And he looked at the first episode, the last episode, and the film. But there's a lot of Bless This House, isn't there?
Yes.
And we've done the first two or three seasons.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm starting to lose track of where we are.
Well, we've not watched for a while, so I think we'd have to look back.
It's one of those series that we did a good chunk of and then went away from, and we've only just sort of come back with this one, because you said choose a random one.
Yes.
And I chose it based on the blurb. But what's the setup here? What is the sit again? Explain the series to me.
A father who is baffled by his children and his wife, really, but mostly by his children.
But it's starring Sid James.
Sid James, yes. He's a put-upon father. He doesn't understand the modern generation.
Yeah, okay. And he's got his wife and his two kids.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now it's a fairly sort of realistic sort of sitcom. There's nothing really weird about it, is there? It doesn't go off into flights of fancy. So it's meant to be a sort of quite a recognisable family.
I think the idea is it's something that people, or probably more men at home watching, would identify with. Yes, the struggle of what the hell are the kids
Because the
doing
opening
now?
sequence is a load of photos of the various sort of...
Well, there are various opening sequences.
Yeah, they go through quite a few, actually. But I took some... A couple of years ago, I took some photos of Sid.
Year.
Was it last year? Only last year. I took 3 photos of Sid James, and these are the ones that went... Well, it's the only time I've ever gone even vaguely viral, isn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing how it took off.
Because it was like Sid looking cross, Sid looking perplexed, and Sid looking happy, wasn't it? And I said these 3 photos could be an answer to anything anybody says on Twitter, basically. And it just went mad, didn't it? And for days and days afterwards, we were getting likes and retweets. And so I don't know how famous people cope with this all the time, do we?
And even somebody eventually copied
Lord Sugar
in on it, didn't they?
Yeah, because they were saying that Sid James looked like Lord Sugar.
Oh, that Lord Sugar looks like Sid James.
Yeah, whichever. Anyway, so what about this episode? It's a Thames series, so of course you get the Thames logo. Sid's always got his pipe on the go, hasn't he?
Though he didn't seem to be actually smoking it in that first scene.
No, but
there was no smoke. He was just sort of there was no smoke
playing with it. Well, this reminds me of in Nick's film when I said I wanted a pipe.
Yes.
Because they're very good things to have as an actor, just to do something with.
Did you do proper pipe acting there?
No, not really. Because what was it? Warren said that Jack Hargreaves says that a proper pipe smoker will keep the pipe in the mouth when they're speaking. If you're an actor, you tend to have the pipe in the mouth, take it out to say the line and put it back in again.
But then see, Sid James does that, but he did smoke a pipe, so perhaps he couldn't...
Maybe that was just Jack Hargreaves,
yes.
I don't know. But they're talking about fishing, aren't they?
Yes.
He claims to have caught no, there's something in the paper about a 36...
In the Angling Times.
36-pound salmon. And he claims that he and Trevor had caught a very big one.
Yes, but it's on the wall of the
Angler's Arms. Now, Gene Coupland is his...
Gene Coupland?
Gene Coupland. Gene
Diana
Coupland as Jean says, as his wife, says that Trevor just had a tiddler, didn't she?
He and Trevor caught a tiddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Mike and Sally.
Mm-hmm. Who are their children?
Their kids. Mm-hmm. Speculating on what Mike and his sort of mates will be like in the army, wearing T-shirts.
Yes.
And then they come in and they've got a bicycle,
yes,
which is sort of making a squeaky noise, and they bring it into the living room. And apparently they've gone into buying and selling all of a sudden. And they bought the bike for £3 and already sold it for £5.
Yeah, the bike and some other stuff.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
No.
But they're going to use the garage to put all the junk in.
Yes.
Now this made me think of around here, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we have a slight parking problem, don't we? I am one of the few people around here that actually uses their garage to put their car in.
Yeah, for the purpose it was actually intended for.
Yeah.
But I think that what the problem is the garages and the houses were built in the 70s.
Yeah, and cars are too big.
Obviously the cars now are just slightly too big for the garages.
Because when I changed my car, I was very concerned that it would actually fit in the garage.
And it does.
And it does, just.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people, they open their garage and you see it's absolutely stuffed with junk.
With junk, yeah.
Whereas all our junk is just in the house, isn't it? But yes, they've been married for 24 years apparently. And how to tell when their kids are happy? What is it? Sally's eyes glisten.
Yes.
And Mike's shoulder twitches. Which apparently they get from their parents.
Yes.
But yeah, it's 8 o'clock the next morning. They get breakfast in bed.
Yes.
And you know that's a sign of something's up.
Something's up, yes.
Yeah, immediate first question, what have you done?
Yes.
Very suspicious. But apparently in 3 days they've made £30, which is, pretty good. So with this £30, they bought one big thing.
Yes.
And then there's a sort of shot out the window, isn't there, of this big thing that is on the lawn, which turns out to be a caravan.
A gypsy caravan,
Yeah, so it's one of those proper ones with the sort of rounded...
Yes. Well, a proper old-fashioned gypsy caravan.
Yeah, and I don't know how much one of those would cost you these days, but more than £30.
A bit more than 30 quid, I think.
I would have said.
Yes.
And they say it's a collector's piece. Sid's immediate reply is get rid of it.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're going to end up with 24 cattle grazing on the lawn next, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he says it goes or you go.
Yeah.
So they did that because I think you've jumped ahead a little bit.
A little bit. Well, this is when they're down in the kitchen.
Yeah, because they come down and decide that they're going to move out. But Mike moves out to the garage and Sally moves out to the caravan. So this is a bit
like Keep It in the Family, isn't it? Where they
just don't move very far.
They still stay at the same address.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's...
So then you get a shot the next morning. Okay. Sid's having his breakfast, a cooked breakfast. I always have cooked breakfasts on the television. I've never known anybody ever cook breakfast in real life. Maybe in the 70s. It's too much of a faff now.
I was going to say, it's quite visually good, I guess, isn't it? You know.
So Sid's having his breakfast, and Jean goes to the window and rings a bell. Mike comes and gets his breakfast.
Yeah, she says the house is not the same without them, and Sid says it's peaceful.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got this brilliant dongy school bell, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she rings the bell, and Mike's got 3 electric heaters going. And he hands over some rent for the garage.
Yeah, like £5 or something.
Yeah, and Sid's very keen on that. And he gets the morning paper as well. So he goes off with that. And the bell gets rung again, and Sid says it's like living in a fire station.
Yes.
But Sally gives some rent over for the lawn. And again, he's quite
happy to take
keen on that. And she says she doesn't want too much in way of food. If they could just leave some of the bread out that they leave out for the birds on the windowsill.
This is after she's had her cooked breakfast, of course.
Yeah. Then we cut very briefly to the pub.
Well, a corner of the pub.
Well, a little
tiny little corner
it's like a
section.
table.
Yeah, a table and a little bit of wall.
And then his mate Trevor, who's his next door neighbour, who's Anthony Jackson from Rent-A-Ghost.
Yes.
And I noticed he's got a bit of froth on his face. I said, "What's that mark on his face?" And I realised what it was. It's a bit of the froth from the beer.
Yes.
Because he's had a swig of it, and some of it's ended up on his face.
Yeah.
But Sid decides that he's going to leave home in the way of the kids. So he immediately goes for, was it something to read? Was it
something to read?
Pipes,
something to smoke,
and some booze.
yeah.
Which
take
is
your mind off
the
of it.
3 essentials of
And his pyjamas.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So he goes upstairs to live in the cupboard.
Yeah, in the airing cupboard by the looks of it.
I suppose it is. I don't know. It's quite spacious, isn't it, to be able to sit in it?
Sit in it, yeah.
He sort of jams himself in. And he leaves a note.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his wife's. When she sees the note, her first reaction is, "Your father's escaped."
Yes.
As though he's like some sort of prisoner in his own house.
Or a wild animal.
Oh yeah, and he's left a note on the armchair which said Sidney Abbott sat here, as though it's some sort of commemorative plaque or something, like a blue plaque. But yeah, they say surely he's going to come back to check on his whiskey or something like that. But yeah, Trevor says Trevor's there and he's got some food which he
comes back in.
He comes back in
yes.
and he tries to hide this food that he's got. He sticks some up his jumper, doesn't he? The rest under his hat.
Yes.
He says he saw Sid at the pub.
No, he said, "Where's Sid?" And they say he's gone to the pub.
Oh,
he said he's just been to the pub.
Yeah, all right, okay. Yeah.
And Mike says, "Oh, we know what it's like. You go out one door, he comes in or goes out the other."
Yeah.
I think he means comes in, but...
But they say Trevor's putting on weight because they see the sort of bulge up his jumper, and under his cap he's got a cake, hasn't he?
Yes, and then he gets some of his jumper. I noticed.
Does he?
Yeah, a bit of cream flicks. It's got like cream or something.
All right.
And it flicks up on his jumper. It must be when he takes his hat off that he flicks a little bit up.
But yeah, they go and make some coffee. Trevor goes upstairs.
Supposedly to have a look at the landing to see if it's different from his house.
Yeah, because he says about how big your house is.
Yes.
You know, it's just the same as yours.
Yeah.
What was it? Sid grabs. What's the first thing he grabs?
I don't know. I didn't notice what it was.
Yeah, it says he's just like a praying mantis. This arm comes out. Yeah. But then somehow he ends up with a cake in the face, doesn't he?
Just as he's about to give him the cake, Jean calls.
Yeah.
So he just shoves the cake in. But of course, it's like the custard pie thing. He does that and hits him in the face.
I thought it was going to happen somehow, but I couldn't quite see how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite clever. Then it's night time and Trevor breaks in.
It's not very dark though, is it?
And
you say breaks in, he's got a key.
Yeah.
He doesn't smash a window or something.
But yeah, he's as you say, it's very, very bright.
It's not very dark.
There's not much darkness at all.
Even though it's in the studio, so they can make it as dark as they wanted to.
All the way through this, I did wonder, how does Sid go for a pee?
He has to sneak out.
Does he sneak out when there's nobody there? But Trevor's brought his drill with him now.
Yeah,
his big wood, one of those big things.
And he drills out. Why? Instead of just opening the door. I don't get. It's purely for the joke that's coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, no, he drills a hole in the door. Sid says he's not giving in. Now, does he want some cocoa
or whiskey?
And he's got several bottles in the sort of.
And they're all clonking. Yeah, they're all glass bottles.
Because Jean hears it and sort of wakes up. But yeah, he's got the coffee in the sort of big
cocoa,
the cocoa, and he's got a huge baby's bottle.
Yeah, well, because we should say that he's got a baby, so he's taken the teat off one of the baby's bottles and put it on this bottle of cocoa
and shoves it through the hole.
It through the hole, yeah.
So he has some. He says it's like feeding time at Whipsnade.
Yeah, and then he has some whiskey.
Whiskey. Does he want some soda? No. And he shoves this bottle of whiskey, and you can see it. You can see the bubbles as it's going down. I mean, I can't drink whiskey
I'm
like
sure it
that.
wasn't real whiskey.
Well, I know, but
probably cold tea.
Even so, I mean, I know people are better at drinking whiskey than me, but to absolutely neck it like that is utterly ridiculous. But I don't know. Maybe people were different in the 70s.
Maybe they were.
Yeah, I like the way Trevor's got his hat on.
Yeah, and his pyjamas and his dressing gown.
Yeah, when he's there all the time.
Comes in, yeah.
Now, eventually, they sort of realise that he's in there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And
she hears him talking to him.
Yeah.
And him talking back, doesn't she?
So eventually, Sid comes out and he's all stiff, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, no, she sprays the soda through.
Oh, that's right. So
which is the only reason that he's drilled a hole in the door, because there's no logical reason. It's purely for that joke.
To get the soda siphon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I've never had a soda siphon. I realise that it's one of those things I've always missed out on. I don't really want one, but yeah, Sid comes out and he's all stiff because he's been in the same position for hours on end.
Yeah.
I get stiff at the best of times. Yes. They say, "Welcome home. Did you miss me?" Like David Tennant. Did you miss me? No, not really.
No.
But yeah, Jean decides to go to. She's
Live in the caravan
going to
with-
live in the caravan as well, and then we get like breakfast the next morning, and Sid's in the only one in the house with the bell, ringing the bell for everybody to have breakfast. And like he's burnt the toast for Jean, hasn't he?
Really bad. It's black.
Because I know you like.
I like it best well done. Well done. I like it brown. I don't like it black.
Because you always say that. How do you say my toast is?
Your toast looks like it's been breathed on by sneezed on by a little baby dragon.
What,
It's gone chew.
And that's it. That's the toast done.
It's just a tiny, really bit brown.
But I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah,
it was quite fun. You know, I mean, Bless This House is never going to be the most laugh out loud sitcom.
But it is fun.
In the world,
and Sid James is always worth watching.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Sid is really what makes it, and you forget how much material Sid James actually recorded.
Yeah.
Because you think of all his Carry On films.
Yep.
But then there's
he does loads of sitcoms as well.
He does a lot.
Because he does.
He really does.
He does Two in Clover, which we've got somewhere.
Yeah.
Citizen James.
Yeah. George and the
Dragon.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
And all the Hancock stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So
he really did do.
If you add up all the hours that Sid James recorded,
yes, there's a lot of Sid James you can watch.
And thankfully, there's a lot of it that still survives.
Yes.
So
most of it still survives.
Yeah.
It's only really the Hancocks that.
But there you are.
Don't.
Bless His House. Good fun, I think. And
Yeah.
As we say, we point you towards Paul's article as well.
Yes.
So there we go. And we'll say cheerio then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.